The cake candles were still burning when my phone vibrated. Once. Twice. Again. I didn't look at it. I watched my wife instead, how she leaned into the microphone like she was stepping into someone else's life. The room smelled like sugar and champagne and borrowed joy. The banner said, "Happy Birthday." My money paid for the font. She smiled. "Not at me. Thank you," she said, eyes locked on a man I'd never seen before tonight. For being there when I needed someone. Applause, confusion, heat behind my eyes. She reached under the table and pulled out a folded shirt. White, crisp, branded. She shook it open like a flag. Divorced. Laughter, phones up. A joke to them, a verdict to me. She handed it to me with a wink like we were co-conspirators. Like this was cute. I stood, left the room, left the noise, left the version of myself that still believed birthdays were harmless. 5 minutes later, I came back. I took the gift I'd wrapped for her, the one with the receipt still inside. I didn't say a word. I didn't look at her. By the time the elevator doors closed, my phone showed 157 missed calls. I didn't answer. The truth doesn't arrive screaming. It waits until you're quiet enough to hear it breathe. Girls' night, she'd said. Wine, laughing. My sister picking her up because parking. Downtown was impossible. Family helps family. I replayed it all with surgical patience. The timing, the rehearsed smiles. The way my sister stopped meeting my eyes weeks ago, like I'd become something sharp. There were small things, always small at first. A charger moved. A password changed. A scent on my pillow that wasn't hers and wasn't mine. Something floral, familiar. Blood remembers blood. When I asked where she'd been that night, she answered too fast. When I asked my sister, she answered too slow. Different stories. Same pauses. Denial is a muscle. Mine tore quietly. I didn't confront. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. The lies were already doing the heavy lifting, stacking themselves into a shape I recognized. At dinner, my wife touched my arm like she was checking for a pulse. At family gatherings, my sister laughed a half-second too late. They avoided being alone with me. They avoided being alone with each other in public. At home, my bedroom felt occupied even when I was by myself. I started sleeping lightly, listening, counting, waiting. Trust doesn't shatter. It thins. Until you can see through it. I moved like nothing was wrong. That was the hardest part, becoming invisible inside my own life. I pulled phone records at work during lunch, calm as breathing. Late-night calls. Same number. Burner. I watched patterns form like constellations. Not random. Never random. I checked bank statements. Small transfers at first, then bolder. Confidence grows where consequences don't exist. I installed nothing. Followed no one. I only observed. Observation is cleaner. Leaves no fingerprints. When she went out, I noted the shoes. The excuses. When my sister dropped by, I noted the perfume change. The way the guest towels were suddenly damp. At night, I lay beside my wife and stared at the ceiling, rehearsing conversations I would never have. Rage pressed against my ribs, but I trained it to stay still. Rage is loud, strategy whispers. I ordered a DNA test kit and left it in the trunk. Not because I needed it, there were no kids, but because certainty likes company. I set alerts on the joint accounts. Watched, learned. They thought secrecy was safety. They were wrong. Every lie adds weight. Every step they took toward each other pulled them further from the ground. I waited until they forgot to look down. The proof arrived on a Tuesday. Plain envelope, no return address, photos, messages, hotel receipts. A timeline so precise it felt respectful. My sister, my wife, my bed. I didn't shake. I didn't sit down. I organized the pages, straightened the corners, and placed them in a folder the color of dried blood. That night, I set it on the kitchen table between us. She opened it. Page by page, her breathing fractured. Her hands betrayed her first. "It's not," she started. I raised a finger. One. Silence obeyed. "How long?" I asked, already knowing. She cried. She begged. She said my sister made her feel seen. She said family shouldn't mean ownership. I watched her collapse into the truth like a building with its permits revoked. When my sister arrived, summoned by panic, I handed her the same folder. She didn't open it. She didn't need to. She knew the weight. I stayed composed. That frightened them more than shouting ever could. I moved first. Drained the joint accounts down to the legal line. Filed the paperwork. Locked the assets. Left nothing that could be mistaken for mercy. Reminded her of the court order she'd already violated by bringing him into my home. I let the system do what systems do best, move slowly and crush quietly. Her birthday party became evidence, public humiliation documented, witnesses, receipts. When the police arrived weeks later, I wasn't there. I didn't need to be. Handcuffs are louder when no one's watching. My sister tried to call. Then text, then plead. Blood doesn't protect you from consequences. It only makes betrayal more expensive. I never raised my voice, never smiled, never explained. I simply stepped aside and let the truth walk through them. The house is empty now, clean, honest. I sleep in the middle of the bed. No ghosts, no perfume, no lies warming the sheets. People ask if I'm okay. I tell them I'm finished. There's a difference. I didn't win. I didn't lose. I recalibrated. I removed infection. I kept my name. Some nights, I think about how easily they said my name while destroying me. How betrayal learned my schedule. How love learned my blind spots. Then I turned the lights off. The past can't follow me into rooms I no longer open. I didn't walk away angry. I walked away precise.